the Republicans are just much better at making a stink out of stuff. Now, I think when Donald Trump was in office, there were so many things that were happening that sometimes it was hard, I guess, for the Democrats to, have any one thing stick. But let's be clear, when the entire issue of Donald Trump having these classified documents at Mar-a-Lago came up, the first thing that all of us were saying was, what an idiot. Why didn't he just give them back when they asked for them? And then what an idiot. Why were they pretending that they gave them all back and then holding them back? They gave them the, limited hangout type of thing. Yeah, here's 20 documents. And they still had, hundreds in boxes. And that looked suspicious.
Yeah,
and
it looks like
somebody's investigating.
I mean, if you want all the documents, say
yeah.
100% of them.
I got to get
just
something in return.
Every document that Joe Biden had in his office or in his home or whatnot, we only know about because Biden's lawyers found them and then returned them immediately to the archivist before the archivists even were aware that they were missing. Here is Representative James Comer, however, Republican from Kentucky, on with Jake Tapper on Sunday.
So let's go there, because you're talking about the Trump documents. Former President Trump is under an investigation for his own classified documents. There are about 20 in the case of Biden. For Trump, there are more than 300 classified documents in Mar-a-Lago. A big difference here, just on the facts. Trump did not fully comply with the subpoena. His lawyers falsely told investigators that they turned everything in. Take a listen to what you told CNN about the situation last November.
I don't know much about that. That's not something that we've requested information just to see what was going on, because I don't know what documents were at Mar-a-Lago. So, that's something we're just waiting to see what comes out on that.
But is it fair to say that investigation won't be a priority?
That will not be a priority.
So what do you say to viewers who don't understand why President Biden's documents seem like a big priority for you, but President Trump, who took hundreds more documents, did not comply with the subpoena, did not reach out to the National Archives or the Justice Department to say, hey, we found these documents? It's not a priority. Do you only care about classified documents being mishandled when Democrats do the mishandling?
Absolutely not. Look, we still don't know what type of documents President Trump had. That's one of the questions we've asked National Archives. Just because Joe Biden's lawyers said they turned over 5 documents doesn't mean they just turned over 5 documents. They could have turned over 500 documents. I'm sorry, but I don't have a lot of confidence in President Biden's personal lawyers. At the end of the day, the National Archives implied to us at former Chairman Maloney's request and told us that the National Archives was working with the Trump administration during the transition. That's the last communication we had with whether or not the archives had worked with Trump on removal of all the documents from the White House. So we don't know exactly what Trump has versus what Biden has. At the end of the day, my biggest concern isn't the classified documents, to be honest with you. My concern is how there's such a discrepancy in how former President Trump was treated by raiding Mar-a-Lago, by getting the security cameras, by taking pictures of documents on the floor, by going through Melania's closet, versus Joe Biden.
All right, can you pause it? I have an easy way to explain the discrepancy, because Biden voluntarily returned them, and Trump had to do so kicking and screaming to the point where they had to execute a search warrant on his home. That's the discrepancy.
It's even greater than that, because it's not even that he voluntarily gave them. Like, they didn't even know that he had them. He brought them in. Like, it was like proactively, voluntarily.
Bold to go, like, I don't care about the principle here. I'm concerned about the hypocrisy.
Is there any more?
Sorry.
All right.
Trump was treated by raiding Mar-a-Lago, by getting the security cameras, by taking pictures of documents on the floor, by going through Melania's closet, versus Joe Biden. They're like, okay, your personal lawyers who don't have security clearance, they can go through, they can just keep looking and keep looking and determine whatever's there. That's not equal treatment. And we're very concerned, and there's a lack of trust here at the Department of Justice by House Republicans. That's the outrage.
So I get that, but there's a big difference in how President Biden and his team reacted and how President Trump and his team reacted. The FBI searched Mar-a-Lago because Trump, for more than a year, refused to turn over documents to the National Archives and the Justice Department, which was trying to get them back into secure hands. Trump and his lawyers lied about it. Trump lied about not having classified documents, did not keep them in a secure location, did not comply with a subpoena, but said he had. And that search warrant, which Trump forced out into the open through his legal machinations, that cited laws that Trump might have violated, including the Espionage Act.
It's my understanding that President Trump did let the National Archives go through on numerous occasions, Mar-a-Lago, looking at the documents. What my understanding is, and again, we don't know because we haven't been briefed, was that President Trump was arguing with National Archives over what is classified and what is not. As we've heard the president say before, the president has the authority to declassify documents. Now, the question is whether or not the president actually declassified the documents. The vice president does not have the authority to declassify.
Actually, the vice president does have.
There's a big difference.
The vice president does. I'm not saying
the
vice president does have that authority.
I agree that the vice president does.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, there it is. But the point is, the Republicans are just so much better at this. I mean, and good for Jake Tapper, who I think, has decided CNN, if he's going to go out at CNN because of everything that they're doing over there, he's going to go out with some measure of integrity. So good for him. But the Republicans are just much better at having absolutely no shame about these things. And now you see people like, Schiff and the others on the intel, they're running for president. And so they've got to make it look like we're going to take this as seriously as the Trump thing. When had Donald Trump just given over these documents the first or second or third or fourth or fifth time that the archivists and the FBI asked him for the documents, we would have never even heard the story. I'm convinced we would have never even heard of it.
I have a dream that all presidents will be treated equal by the Justice Department.
They were trying to get out ahead of it. I mean, that was the reason that the Biden administration did it. And I think it's the right move. In they undercut any attempts at a cover-up narrative. So Republicans will kick and scream. But this isn't. Classified documents aren't moving the needle on either side. People who already hate Trump are going to use the classified documents to justify the fact that he's a crook, and that's the case. People that already hate Biden will scream hypocrisy, and that will be the end of it. And that's just, that's it. That's it for this story.